Welcome to part 2 of silencer testing on the Royal Enfield Hunter 350. In part 1 the standard downpipe was used and the results showed that you could make a lot more noise, but my measured performance increases were very tiny. This time we're going to try the tests again using the Delkevic downpipe. There are lots of results to go through, but first let's look at some of the work that needed to happen to get everything to fit ready for testing. To fit the Super Trap silencer onto the Delkevic downpipe has required a new link pipe. This is the standard one that came with the Delkevic pipe, but that Super Trap exhaust doesn't want to fit on the back here. It's a matter of fractions of millimeters, but it's still enough to stop it wanting to fit without using excessive force. So we bought an exhaust bend. It's a slightly shallower angle than the Delkevic one, which means the exhaust is lower slung, and I've had to make up another bracket, but that's going to be fine for testing purposes. Shorty silencer features the Delkevic pipe with just a little adjustment of the brackets used for the standard downpipe, and that has got the proper Delkevic link pipe fitted as well. Standard silencer fits the Delkevic downpipe with no issues at all, as you'd kind of hope. So that's the 3 silencers test fitted in the garage. Now we just need to find time to go out and do some road testing, and hopefully it won't be quite as wet as it was last time. Here are the results. The test is again a third gear acceleration test from 30 to 50 miles per hour. The top row, up here, are the previous results using the standard downpipe. You can see that the Shorty silencer was slightly quicker than standard by just 0.04 of a second. The Super Trap with 12 discs, very similar, and with 6 discs the performance was much the same as the standard silencer. Now if you move down a row, you'll see the results for the Delkevic downpipe. The 2 sets of results can't be directly compared as they were done on different days with different weather conditions, etc. But I know from a previous test that the standard silencer on the Delkevic pipe is 0.14 of a second quicker than the standard on the standard downpipe. Now we can compare the effects of just the silencers. All the 3 silencers are now quicker than the standard one. This time the Shorty is 0.2 of a second quicker. The 6 disc Super Trap is a little bit quicker than standard, and the 12 disc sits neatly in the middle. So it does seem that different silencers do make more of a difference when used with the Delkevic downpipe rather than the standard downpipe. Then I rode the bike home and had a think, and decided that there were still some more tests that I wanted to do. One was to try the Super Trap completely naked with no discs or end cap. 2 was to try the Shorty with the Super Trap discs fitted to see if it quietened it down a bit. And 3 was trying different end caps on the Super Trap disc stack. So let's see how that went. As much as I like the Super Trap silencer on the Royal Enfield Hunter, it seems when it comes to performance, the cheap Shorty one is king. Not surprising really, it's also the least restrictive one. It's also the noisiest one. And it only really has an effect if you're also prepared to change the standard downpipes as well. But maybe there's a compromise. I think I can get the rings from the Super Trap to fit the outlet of the Shorty. Maybe we can have a best of both worlds. So there are a couple more tests that I'd like to do before I've finally had enough of playing with exhaust systems on the Hunter. The first is to test this Super Trap exhaust without any discs on, just to see how loud it is and how that affects performance. And also the Shorty, in an attempt to quieten it down a bit, has had some modifications. I've taken off the plastic end cap and cut off the little tail piece, and in its place it now has the 12 Super Trap discs, held on with the aid of this little aluminium spacer plate, which took me far too long to make, but it's finally done now. So that's ready for testing, so that will be the next thing on the testing schedule. Today I've been attempting to make silencer end caps using the metal spinning technique. As you can see, I've had a couple of goes already. They're promising, a long way from perfect, but they're promising. You can see the only lubricant I could find to do this job, good old Silcoline grease. Very improvised setup. I have a 3D printed ABS former, and my forming tool happens to be the tyre bar from the Sealy tyre changer. It conveniently had a nice ball end. I've filed that a bit to make that smooth, and it's been doing a reasonable job. So we'll have another go and see how this one turns out. This is part way through the process. There's a little bit of shape in it, but as you can see, there's still quite a way before we're going to get down onto the former. I'm going to take this off and anneal it again to make my life a little bit easier. The aluminium disc has been heated up and annealed again, and we've worked it again using that ball end from the tyre bar. And now we have a nice curved shape, which we'll use to make up some end caps to go on the Hunter silencer and see what difference that makes to performance. So there we have it, 3 different sized end caps, which we can then try on this Super Trap silencer, with or without discs, and see how that alters the performance. The second lot of test results. What have we got to show for all that effort in the garage? Not a great deal is the short answer. The Super Trap with 12 discs has been used as the baseline. Take the discs off and performance increases by a tiny amount. Adding the 32.5mm end cap takes the edge off the noise but also hits performance. Using 12 discs and the open 32.5mm end cap puts it back to the figures obtained with just the 12 discs and the closed end cap. The Shorty exhaust fitted with the Super Trap discs, or the Shorty Trap as it is now known, was similar in performance to the 12 disc Super Trap. I also tried the Shorty with the open end cap, which made it marginally quicker. I didn't bother trying the other 2 end caps that I made, as it was fairly obvious it wasn't really going to help performance in any way. So what's the conclusion of all this testing? For this test, and the 30 to 50 mile per hour acceleration test is only a snapshot of the bike's overall performance. For outright performance, stick on a Delkevic downpipe and the freest flowing silencer your ears can stand. Have I finished performance testing the Hunter? Probably not. The standard downpipe is 33mm internal diameter. The Delkevic is 43. Quite a big change. I can't help but wonder what effect this is having. What's that, Ted? The postman's bin? That's Ted the Border Terrier. You may see more of her in future videos. Looks like there's some more testing to be done.